Hey guys, this is Chase with Tennessee Truck Campers. I get a lot of questions about air conditionings and why we use air conditionings that we do and what other people are doing. And of course, I love watching and following lots of camper and van life people anyway and getting different opinions. I'm going to throw mine in here. I thought this is a perfect time while we've got a camper on my truck from an expo and about to go to another one. I've tried different air conditionings over time, and I'm going to give you some results and kind of my opinions about things, about how things have gone. This is a Vevor unit. I think it's 4,250 BTU. It's got a startup wattage of around 1,100 watts of what my meter can track, and it runs somewhere around 430 watts. The problem is the startup wattage, I say, is around 1,100 because it's very hard to figure out. I haven't been on the phone with Vevor before, actually the manufacturer that manufactures this for Vevor. Because my Jackery 1000, which has a 2,000 watt peak, the majority of the time will not start it up. It will fault it out. So actually, even though my meter is probably a half a second slow catching at 1,100, it actually jumps over 2,000 the majority of the startups. So although it's fairly efficient when it gets started, to my surprise, it is horrible to get started if you're working on a system that has, 2,000 watts max load at one time. But 430 watts is not too bad. You're only getting, a little over 4,000 BTUs, which is not a lot. This unit and these types of units, though, are not as efficient, in my opinion, as they could be, because both of these, I guess they have some sort of dehumidifier function, because they have dry functions, and of course they can hold water in tanks. That's a convenient thing, but it also makes them, carry more wattage at startup, because you can't soft start these to some extent. I've repeatedly tried to start them up in different modes and stuff like that, and they're touchscreen kind of type stuff. They're not manual as much as I'd like, so they're kind of hard to start up at a soft start. But anyway, this Midea unit starts up somewhere around 866 watts, actually pretty consistently. My Jackery always starts it up, hasn't had an issue, so it doesn't have such a jolt, and it runs somewhere around 850 or 860 watts in general. I tried to run them for several minutes a piece to make sure they didn't jump up a lot more than that, and they float around a little bit, but there's your averages. I'm going to zoom in on these labels. You can see, if you're curious, they're both interesting options, and in certain cases could be good ones probably. I'm going to jump in the back of our camper now because I've got this one running that we use. Currently look at the setup how Tennessee Truck Campers does it. We like to hide them in these boxes. I don't necessarily think they're tremendously ugly, but some people like us to cover them up, so we put them in boxes and open them, and they're running. We use a very specific unit in our campers. These are a 5,000 BTU unit because there's not a whole lot of air capacity in our campers. Ignore kind of the mess, and the bed's not in right now because we just come back from an expo. So that's how it's currently set up. This one right now, we've got, let's see here, this is the gauge I've been using. It's a few watts off of my Jackery. Looks like they're, let's see, that's the high. Let's go to running. This one's been running a few minutes now. Eventually I'll find it. I'll probably pass it. There we go. Jackery claims it's running 526 watts. My gauge says meter is about 544. It's jumping around somewhere. This unit I like because you can control the startup on it, which is super handy. My Jackery pretty much doesn't fail to start it, even when you turn it wide open. But even when you soft start it, of course, it makes it a little easier on the circuit anyway. But it's somewhere around a 600 startup when you soft start it, and around 520 running watts. But the reason you can soft start it is because it is all manual stuff. You can run the fan in low for a second, then run the fan in high, and then turn the compressor on. All that stuff kind of helps. I'll show you the label on this one too. This is the one we've had a lot of good luck out of. We've had zero issues out of them, so this is the ones we keep using. They're definitely not the cheapest units, but they've been reliable, and I like them. If y'all got any questions, holler at me. I just thought I'd spend a minute with you and kind of show you kind of what we're doing and give you maybe some options on different camper vans and setups. I know people put these things in windows and we've got these ports here so we can get to our ratchet straps. Some people put the exhaust out of those and different things. There's 100 different ways, and there's not a right or wrong way. If you're getting cool and it's as efficient as you want, I don't have a problem with it. Because it's all just going to be based on opinions. Guys, I appreciate it. Y'all take care. Bye.